Have you heard the term as is home purchase? I'm sure you have. And in a seller's market like it's been for the last 2 years, a lot of sellers are forcing it on buyers that you need to agree to this being an as is transaction. Technically, in the state of New Jersey, all transactions are as is. But as part of the normal course of business, most times you should be all times. You're going to do a home inspection, you're going to make home inspection requests. And then you're going to get a response from the seller. You're going to agree on a credit or things to be done, going to resolve that part, then going to move through and resolve the other parts. The problem that we're seeing is that first-time home buyers are agreeing to buy homes as is. I'm here to tell you that that's not a good idea. I don't even know why you do it unless you're completely desperate. Watch this video. Don't be so desperate. If you are so desperate that you're agreeing to as is properties on the first time you ever buy a home, how are you protecting yourself? Because you did inspections and found out everything was fine? You agreed in advance that you were going to do it as is. So what if something wasn't fine? Why would you do that when you spend 300, 400, 500, 600, up to $1 million, more than $1 million? Why do you want to waste more money, or why do you want to buy a property where a seller says you need to buy it just whatever the way it is? And I'm going to explain why there's other ramifications beyond the inspection that are going to be a problem for you buying it as is. But like buying it is, that means if it has an oil tank, you're accepting that. If it has knob and tube wiring, you're accepting that. Why do you want to do that? And why do you want to agree with that up front before you've even moved forward? I know it's been a rocky ride over the last 2 years, but what is the purpose of doing that if you're a first-time home buyer? It could potentially cripple you. Might you have a good agent, a good home inspector, and a good attorney, and everything's pretty clean? Yep. But why would you want to foreclose the opportunity to at least make inspection repair requests, reasonable ones based on major things? For us, we use limiting language. So for our buyers, we're only focusing on major things anyway. And we're going to cut that list to as small as possible. And when I say me, I mean our team. My team is called Streamline Properties on Market. We're brokered by eXp Realty. And our job is to make it as smooth a transaction as possible. And to make it smooth, we have to be upfront with you and sometimes say no. That video is going to be at the end also, that sometimes we have to say no to you to protect you from yourself. And that comes up a lot in as-is transactions because we're just not comfortable if you're a brand new first-time home buyer with you taking on all the stuff that the seller didn't do. That's not just things that will come up on home inspection reports. That could be things like additions that were done without permits, hot water heaters, furnaces installed without permit, a bathroom installed without permitting. You know what happens when you go to close or when you go to get the CO? Even if buyer is responsible for the certificate of occupancy, in some towns that's been outsourced to the fire department, where they're just going to check for the smoke alarms and the fire extinguisher. They're not going to check the town card to see if that's a new bathroom. You're going to get stuck with it, and later it's going to come back to haunt you, because if you have an illegal bathroom and you buy a house as is, you're buying an illegal bathroom, which means it's probably going to have to be capped off and you're not going to be able to use it. You do not want to take, as a first-time buyer, all of the junk that the seller wants you to just because you feel like you're never going to find a home. There's plenty of homes out there. You don't have to give up all your rights just because you feel like you can't get one. Take your time, discuss it with your agent, discuss it with your attorney. Might there be a thing here and there where it might be okay to accept a property as is? I'm going to say almost never as a first-time home buyer, because you want the opportunity to do the full inspections and get your money out of it by making sure you're requesting major items, making fair requests, and seeing if the seller will respond fairly. Something to think about. I say it's a definite no. Do not, as a first-time home buyer, buy a home as is.